Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So yes, this is a pre-recorded recap, but I wanted to make sure, as you know, it's a holiday week and I got things to do, but you know I had to react to the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. There will be a live chat, so feel free to have the conversation. And don't forget to let me know how you'd rate this episode. But first off, let me know where you're watching from. So, oh my goodness, I have to start from the beginning because when we get to the end of this episode, there's a lot to unpack. And again, I remember what I said. So trust and believe, when you go back to the old videos where we were talking about colorism and things like that from the last couple of seasons, at this point, it's overt. It's overt. But before we get there, the episode is called Beef is Served because last week we saw that Peter Thomas, when he was FaceTiming with Mia, apparently now we find out in this week's episode that Mia and G have known Peter for a very long time. They show all the pictures and the receipts. Okay, the DMV is small. Peter's always wanted to be on television. He's all over television. Now he's back. Just this weekend, I posted a video of Peter talking about Escape and says, I don't F with them. I'm like, what? And then what about Candy? He's like, and I'm like, I can't with Peter. Peter, I've tried to defend you earlier in the season. I tried to defend Peter. I said, well, bar one is open in this city. I really tried to have your back as a fellow Jamaican. But you going out sad. Especially when you're talking to me and like, I'm going to give you some tea to take back.
How you doing?
Look, and I see everyone saying it. And a lot of times I stayed away from the whole Patricia narrative because to me, it was emasculating and I didn't like that. But Peter, at this point, anyways, we'll get back to Peter in a second. So she FaceTimes with Peter, and Peter says, I have beef with Wendy. Because as you know, Wendy and Peter were working on this Nigerian restaurant. However, we come to find out from Giselle that he didn't take her serious from jump. So why would you have beef with her if you weren't taking her serious from jump? Just asking. If you weren't taking her serious. Oh, but you're waiting on to hear from her. And look, we also don't know the timeline of things. We later find out from Dr. Wendy when she posts the receipts that she was waiting on a response from him. Okay. But before we get there, so what is going on with this place? Is it hot or was Charrisse just being extra? It seemed like it was hot, but no, because she wasn't the only one that was sort of like fanning herself. Just asking. And then poor Giselle and Robin sharing that room, and they only got 2 towels and 1 hand towel. You think they would shade Mia, but they're not even saying one word about Mia and her hosting situation. At least not this week. Yes, last week they shaded the whole situation that it's not on South Beach. But this week it's like, mum's the word. Ashley comes in and is complaining about Michael. She's like, Michael's being difficult now. He's asking all these questions. Sidebar, I did see the photo of Michael in the Bahamas at the, I guess the performance that Candace was having. And then Chris Bassett was in the comments section. The lady that was speaking to Michael in that moment was basically saying, you're not wanted here. Why are you here? Michael is such a creep. If you're not going to show up for cameras, why are you showing up off camera? We don't care. At first, when I saw the photo, I was like, y'all are just being funny because you guys love any old white man with no hair. Y'all be like, look at Michael Darby. And that's what I thought this was. No, it was really Michael Darby. He's living his best life. Okay, back to this. So Ashley comes in and complains about Michael. And then she talks about now that people know that I'm single, an old ex is in her DMs. I really don't care. I don't care about Ashley and Luke. I don't care about Ashley and her TikTok dances, seeing her on that veranda trying to do a TikTok. She is that friend that when you're out and about, everything is a social media moment. Everything is a TikTok moment. You know what? I'm sure a lot of you would appreciate it if I did that because there's so many moments that could be TikTok or YouTube or Reels worthy, and I just don't do it. I don't have the patience. But I think I would lose my mind if every moment she's like, oh, let me do a TikTok dance. And I'm like, if you don't sit your 2 left feet down. Sorry, okay? Anyways, so she talks about that. She talks about how Michael's being difficult. I really believe that her and Michael have decided to divorce. However, I also believe that they decided that this could be her storyline. He's also allowing her to, this is her exit strategy. She's going to leave this divorce. She's not taking half of Michael's stuff. She's going to have her money from Bravo, and she's going to get something from Michael. And probably, of course, child support. Ashley, at this point, Ashley's just annoying. I get where all you guys have been saying this for years. I don't know why all of a sudden, maybe because there were so many people there that were just annoying. Now she's standing out there. I'm like, girl. Sidebar, I'm really glad that Candace, I can't even imagine. Can you imagine if Candace was there during that whole bar one situation at the end? I'm glad she wasn't. I'm glad. But part of me wishes that she was, because there was no one having Dr. Wendy Acefo's back in that moment. And even though Karen wasn't trying, look, she was twerking on the fence. That is such a tourist thing. She was twerking on the fence. But at the same time, I'll get to it. I don't want to rush. I don't want to rush into it. Oh, we'll get there, because I just have a lot of feelings, and they're not good feelings. We'll get there. So Mia and Jacqueline, we're starting to see the breakdown in this friendship. And I did find it interesting that later in the episodes, Jacqueline says she doesn't know if her and Mia would actually be friends if they met as adults. I can see that. I can see a more mature side from Jacqueline versus Mia. Mia is delusional. And I know I've said there's certain things about Mia that makes her a great housewife, but she's also dangerous. Bravo. She's dangerous. And I do find it interesting that Mia took to social media a few weeks ago, blasting Jacqueline and her violent behavior and basically say, Bravo, is this what you want on your network? Come to find out, mind you, she's posting this after this all played out already in Miami, was filmed months ago. And she's posting this. Girl, by those standards, you should be fired. And some fans want you fired. So Mia's complaining about Jacqueline because Jacqueline doesn't have toothpaste. She doesn't have tampons. She doesn't have deodorant. And that is annoying, Jacqueline. If that is really the situation, girl. And I always overpack because I don't want to rely on anyone. So I'm like making sure I have this, that, all my skincare stuff has to come. Call me high maintenance if you want to. But Jacqueline, no matter what, even if you didn't bring those things with you, take your butt to CVS and take care of it. I wouldn't be complaining or saying anything to Mia. Especially if she's going to say the things that she's saying on camera about you, making it seem like you're annoying. All right. And then of course, Mia's telling the other ladies about it. All right. So Wendy and Karen discuss Charrisse, but we don't find out until a couple of scenes later that Wendy also had a conversation with Charrisse. So as you know, Karen and Charrisse, Karen says that she has not been friends with Charrisse in 5 years. She doesn't, and I've said this before, I feel like Charrisse only wants to have this meeting with Karen so she can be on camera. And I agree with all of you. I said this before a few months ago. I'm open to Charrisse coming back because she really knows these women. But so far, Charrisse's return has been the biggest womp 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 of the year. Yep. And that confession. And the thing is, look, Charrisse. And the confessional look that you're giving, that's another womp womp womp. But the Potomac girls, though, all of them have had a womp 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 moment with their confessionals. I don't think anyone's always been stellar. Yeah, I can't think of anyone that's always been stellar. Maybe Monique. Monique may have been you guys would have to remind me of a confessional look that was like a big womp womp womp. But I think she's probably the only one that's never really Robin. No, because we have had some moments with Robin. You're like, girl, what are you doing? But oh, Charrisse, I hope you have another one to make up for this terrible one that we have, and then them shading you last week. Shout out to the editors. Editors, you are in your artistic bag this season. We're getting Matrix edits. They are always showing a flower blooming, dying, alligators this week. The Matrix one sent me. I did not even see that coming because literally the episode of the podcast, shameless plug, my podcast, my podcast, Kempire Radio. The name of the episode this week, What in the Matrix is Going On? Not knowing that we were going to get this edited scene. But we'll get back. We'll get back to the bar one in a second. There's so many thoughts, y'all. So many thoughts. And I know you have some too. Let me know in the live chat and let me know in the comment section. Replay crew as well. I want to know your thoughts on this episode. How are you feeling about this season? Are you getting a little turned off like me? I'm getting a little turned off, y'all. This episode was probably like the cherry on top. The cherry on top. So Wendy is having this conversation with Karen. And I like that at least Wendy has Karen there because imagine if she didn't have Karen and they had their issues before. But imagine if she didn't. Now part of me feels like I wish the scholar came back. Because look, if these women didn't conduct themselves like mean girls that are straight out of high school, then I wouldn't say that, we need to bring someone back so that, Wendy doesn't feel so all alone. A lot of you were saying, Kempire, listen to Carlos King's conversation with Wendy. Wendy, I wish, and I don't know if it was editors, but based on what you said on Carlos King's podcast, that you trying all these different things was because of the culture that you grew up in. Because you grew up Nigerian and because of what they expected. When you came onto the show, you were just trying everything because you're trying to find out who you are. If you said that, if you really showed that on the show, I think people would have loved you more. But it's constantly feeling like you're trying to be someone that you're not. And it's just not translating well. When you explained it on the podcast, I was like, if Wendy gave us that, I think the audience would fall in love with Wendy. Because you're honest. You're like, I don't know who I am, so I'm trying everything. I'm going to try some candles. I'm going to do it all. But I still got to maintain this job at Johns Hopkins because I still got to pay bills. We would respect it because so many people, not just Nigerians, can relate to that. But I could say the same thing for Robin. Robin's not giving us the relatable story that we know that she's living. She'd rather give us, like, I'm selling all the hats and I'm in love finally and I'm getting married before February. We'll get to you, Robin, in a second. Ugh, disgusted. I didn't expect to get this disgusted. I thought this week Robin would be off, but apparently Robin decided to check on in at the end. So anyway, Wendy has this conversation with Karen, okay? Karen says that she hasn't been friends with Charrisse in 5 years. So Karen, in my mindset, when we were talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville, and we were talking about Melody and Destiny's relationship, we were talking about sometimes people, your friend groups, the audience needs to understand, I don't want to be friends with that person anymore. And I don't have to be friends with that person anymore. It's not good for me. And I believe that's why she has not been friends with Charrisse. But Charrisse wants a moment. And Giselle, you need to let it go, little producer. What's really going on in your life? Because constantly, like, I'm going to get to the bottom of why she's avoiding Charrisse. She doesn't F with Charrisse. And I don't blame her. And she's tolerating you because you're on the show with her. And that's running thin too, for all of us. Anyways, we'll get back to Giselle in a moment. All right. So Ashley, Giselle, and Mia are out in the back of this Miami home that's down on South Beach. And they're talking about Wendy. And they're talking about this beef that Peter has with Wendy. And we find out from Giselle that she's very familiar with Peter. She spoke with Peter at I think it was the BET Awards. And that's when Peter told on himself that, yeah, Wendy was just hitting me up about doing a Nigerian restaurant, but she's not serious. So if she's not serious, what beef do you really have? I love at the end when Wendy says to Mia, what beef that he has with me? If he has beef, he can have beef with my husband. I respect it. I respect, because what, like, really, beef? Because everyone defines beef differently. Some people is like, oh, no, beef for some people is like, what? How are you and I, a man and a woman, got beef over some business? I know what you're going to say, some of you. It's just a saying. Not for everyone. Not for everyone. Perception is a thing. Perception is a thing. Speaking of perception, guys, If you haven't liked the video, why haven't you? Liking the video is an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Literally, I'm seeing more and more channels show up on my algorithm because I like the videos that I like. So like the video if you haven't already, and be sure to check out other ways that you can support the channel, including we have a new tier. So if you're a member or you want to become a member, there's a new tier that's a lot of really great things coming to that new tier. So be sure to check that out. A lot of exclusives will be shed there. Shed and shared, you know. All right, so back to this. So that's where we find out more about Peter and the whole Wendy situation through Giselle. Of course, Giselle, bone carrier, and saying that, oh, Wendy's not serious about this business and blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. So Mia shades. So we have a couple of these scenes where they're in the car, and then we have Mia shading Charrisse, and Charrisse is like, I need a bathroom. And I don't blame it. Look, I think Charrisse expected, per Mia, that she would have a choice of room. When they got there, she didn't give her the choice. So I don't blame her. She's like, all right, but Charrisse is extra for no reason. Always. That's who she is. It's okay. That's what we expect of our housewives and friend doves. So we had her talking about that. And even in that moment, were you guys paying attention to Jacqueline? Because there was some tension between Jacqueline and Mia. Like, it's brewing. We're starting to see the cracks in this relationship. And Jacqueline, it's okay as you get older to outgrow people and friendships and family. It's okay. And that's what, look, at this point, I was like, let me just see how this all plays out. Mia makes it seem as if Jacqueline, acted different and was sensitive. No, Mia, you are just draining as a friend, probably. And I don't blame Jacqueline for not being your friend anymore. Because nothing that you say we can take at face value, because you are a known liar and a self-admitted liar. Anyways. So they have that whole conversation there. Pay attention to the Jacqueline, sitting in the back, reacting to some of the things that Mia is saying about Charrisse and just in general, okay? So we also have the scene with the other car. So we have Ashley and Giselle, Robin, and Mia in the other car. No, not Mia. Who else was in that car? Who cares? It's unimportant at this point. Oh, is this Charrisse? I can't remember. It's unimportant because the conversation goes to a place that I didn't expect it to go. Robin admitting that she still walks naked in front of her son, who's like 14 years old, which leads to Ashley talking about how her mom still does that to her brother. And he's like, what, 30-something years old? Giselle's reaction was all of our reaction. Like, what? Like, put it away. Look, everyone's different. I don't care. It's your child. That child came out of your hoo-ha. I'm not going to tell you how to raise your children. Is it a little strange to me? Yes, but it was a great moment in the scene. It really was. It was like, we did not expect that. It came out of nowhere, and we're like, wait, what? All right. Moving on. Because I want to get to the bar one, because I have a lot to say when it comes to this bar one scene. All right. So, okay, we are bar one. I'm looking at my notes, y'all. This is how we do the live show anyway. So I'm not going to edit. I'm going to keep my fourth wall in. All of it staying in. All of it staying in. Sidebar, we did not get any Candace. Candace was busy, but did Candace get paid for this episode? It doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, I was like, wait a minute, Candace wasn't in this at all? She's going to be in it next week, though. All right. So they go to Bar 1, Miami. This is another location that Peter Thomas has. Okay. Good for Peter. I was rooting for Peter. But Peter is being extra messy, and he's being dragged on these internet streets for being Patricia. And like I said to you before, I really avoided ever referring to Peter as Patricia because I just felt like it was emasculating. I felt like there were undertones that I did not like. And I'm not going to go there anyway. But I don't like how Peter is getting involved in, first of all, you really have no connection to these ladies. Okay, yes, you know Mia, but your situation, your business situation, because we can't scream business when Peter's not conducting himself like a businessman. Yes, you may have an issue with Wendy, but that's your issue with Wendy. That's your business with Wendy. Not with this woman, Mia, that's been kicked out of her own business, the CEO that was kicked out. I feel like we're going to find out the real reason why she was kicked out. And I'm not trusting a word that's coming out of Mia's mouth. Why hasn't the family spoken yet? I know that they were in the comment section saying it's not exactly what she says it is. Okay. All right. So, before we get into all the Wendy and the Mia and the Karen versus Charrisse situation, there's Giselle. Here you go messing stuff up again. Giselle is spreading a rumor that Ashley said at the burn party that Chris was rubbing on her friend's leg or butt. And come to find out, that's exactly not, that's not what Ashley said. And they literally play it and that's not what Ashley said. Ashley said he leaned in. However, Giselle has escalated this to him grabbing someone's butt. Now you get the things that you guys are saying. You don't realize how this is just making it worse, making it more problematic, and jeopardizing people's livelihood. Be a little bit more cognizant of what you're saying before you say it, Giselle. And I'm not even talking about your issue with Chris. I'm talking about this particular situation. He never touched this woman, but now all of a sudden you're spreading a rumor in the group that he touched someone's butt. Irresponsible and disgusting. All right. So we go from that. Dr. Wendy Acefo. Look, everyone gets it here. Dr. Wendy Acefo is caught out there for, first of all, she had a conversation with Charrisse. She had a conversation with Karen. And it comes to find out that what she was saying about the other was what she was saying about the whole Charrisse not coming from a good place, it wasn't exactly the way it played out. But you saw how she sort of switched it and it made Mia, bring it back to Mia and what Mia was saying in the car. I was like, oh, okay, Dr. Wendy Acefo, you got out of that one. I liked it though. But she was being a little bit of a producer with the whole Charrisse and Karen situation. But the Karen and Charrisse situation, there's not a lot to say because we clearly see that Charrisse, look, do I think that Karen has some secrets? We all have secrets. I was in the closet for how many years? I'm just saying, I'm out now though. Anyways, do I believe that there's a Mr. Blue Eyes? If there is, I think Ray knows. Just say it. I don't think Charrisse says that maybe I know her secrets. You know nothing, Charrisse. You know nothing. You know nothing about Karen, and you know nothing about those eyelashes. Girl. Anyways, so the beef between them is just they're doing their sort of back and forth. Giselle is trying to get in there. Giselle and Robin are trying to spin a narrative that Karen is running from Charrisse. No, I think Karen is clearly what a Taurus would do, is not giving her light. She's done with her. And she's like, you just came back here. 5 years we haven't spoken. And now you want to be friends because you want to be on the show. You want more camera time. And we're not going to give it to you, Charrisse. Producers, I know you watch. Hey, Charrisse can go. I know I said bring Charrisse back, but I've changed my mind. It's been bad. It's been bad. And Charrisse, I want to open a lounge. I like champagne. No. Look, no, ain't nobody going to that either. And Peter's probably looking at you very much the way he was looking at Wendy. You're not serious. And how much money do you have to invest? I'm not saying that she doesn't. I don't know what she got in that divorce settlement. But didn't I hear she doesn't even live in Potomac anymore? But many of them don't. Only like 2 of them do now. Or 3 of them. Just saying. So, anyway, so we have that back and forth between Charrisse and Karen, okay? And then Mia gets up and she has a conversation with Peter. And that's where Peter he's like, I'm going to give you some tea. So we already know that Mia and Peter, they've had a friendship for a very long time. They've all, dinner together, all the things. We had no idea, and here we are. So he says all that, and then Mia brings it back. And look, we get it. It's a reality show. It's a housewife show. This is part of what they do. They got to get into the mix and bring things up. I just feel like Mia took it to a level that it just went too far. It's one thing to bring it up, but then to turn it into this whole thing. And I agree with Wendy. She's like, you got beef with me, Peter? No, you probably have beef with my husband. You don't have beef with me. And if we're talking about being professional, we're talking about being business. And I saw you also all the little Giselle and Robin little things under their breath. It's one thing if you don't like someone. I get it. But right is right and wrong is wrong. So even if I don't, and that could be the Taurus in me. Even if I love someone or like someone, I'm still going to tell them when they're wrong. So this conversation that Mia brings up about Wendy not getting back or texting Peter that she's in town. Why in that? First of all, he says he spends more time in Baltimore. Why would she text him that she's in town? For what reason? Unless you're having a business meeting. She's working on another job right now. So I agree with Dr. Wendy Asefo. Why am I texting you? Or why am I letting you know that I'm in town? You're not my husband. You're not even my family. And according to the text message, I'm waiting for you to respond. And she says that when Peter comes over and he acts like everything's all good. She's like, oh, I haven't heard from you. She's like, check your text message. And at first when she said that, I was like, did she just text him when she found it she was at the bar? Well, apparently not. That's not what it was. But Mia escalates this whole situation to a level that was just not necessary. I know some of you are going to be like, well, she was talking about the husband and blah, blah, blah. Was she trying to do a whole Lisa Rinna moment? What, girl, Mia, stop being a fan. Stop being a fan. Is that what you were trying to do? You were trying to have a Lisa Rinna moment from Amsterdam? Don't you talk about my husband. Really? Is that what we're doing? Girl. So Mia throws a drink at Wendy. Sidebar, when they were checking on Wendy's wig, she's like, it's wet and wavy, so it's fine. That made me cackle a little bit. That made me cackle. I was like, okay, Wendy, I see you. We see each other. Oh, wait, rewind. I remember something. You know elephant brain. When they're talking about being a businesswoman, first of all, she's like, I am a CEO that's been kicked out of her business recently. I am a CEO. I'm a black female CEO. And then Dr. Wendy Asefo was like, I am the youngest professor at the Johns Hopkins University. I am the only black female professor at the Johns Hopkins University. I was like, all right, girl. She should be proud of that. She's still there. She's still doing it. She didn't hightail it out of there after she's been on this show. And those damn producers with the whole John Hopkins is not involved. Sorry, John Hopkins. I mentioned you quite a few times. So, sidebar, when they were talking about being business and Giselle's chiming in over there, talking under her breath. And I posted a tweet and I said, well, I don't think Giselle has any place to talk about business when every hue is in liquidation. And she hadn't told anyone that it was going in liquidation. She didn't let her customers know. And yes, at this point, everyone knows. At this point, they've released the statement. But at the time, everyone was waiting for, like, what happened to every hue? And I was actually really excited for Giselle, when she launched this, because she had launched it pretty early in her Potomac days. And a lot of you said that the makeup was good. And I was like, this is amazing. I was excited for Giselle. I was like, yes, this is what you should do. And then, look, the pandemic, a lot of businesses suffered. I get it. But don't sit here and act like you're the most professional person, Giselle. Okay? Especially when you don't know the whole situation. You don't know, one side, and you clearly, because we see it in this moment, you clearly even if you see that someone's wrong in a situation, if they're your friend, you don't see anything else. You're like, nope, she's right. Yeah, she's right. She threw the drink. You're antagonizing. We see you, Robin. Robin, I forgot if we spoke about this last week, but Robin said that Dr. Wendy Acefo is the meanest woman there. And I said to myself, really? Sidebar, how come we never talk? You know, we talked about when Robin was aggressive towards Ashley. We talk about when Robin was aggressive towards Monique. But she was aggressive towards Ashley, not just at Ashley's restaurant. Remember when Ashley was bringing up and Googling and talking about her family and they were at the table and my favorite meme where she's like, I do not want to talk. I was like, oh, here we go with Robin being aggressive again.
I don't want to do this.
Okay.
I don't. Okay. I don't want to hear anything else out of her mouth about my family.
I'm not going to say anything else. My issue is with you.
What is the issue? What have I done to you?
Just saying. So this situation escalates. So we have Mia throw the drink. We have the Matrix moment of Karen. Ooh. Luckily. So production has security there because they're not playing. Mia walks away, but it turns into Robin saying that, oh, Wendy, you're so antagonizing. And here's the thing, you know, we've talked about the colorism conversation, especially this season. Yes, we talked about it a little bit last season, but more than ever this season, I see it so much. And I know some of you don't see it, and I get it. Perception is a real thing. And I'm not going to fault people for not necessarily seeing it because I really see it this season. Especially with some of the things that Robin is saying. I don't know about the whole situation. No, there were moments with Ashley, but Ashley came out recently talking about, oh, you know, I am not a colorist. Okay, I'm not going to label any of these people colorists. However, their blinders are fully on. And I said this before, and I said this on the podcast. My thing is in the beginning, if you didn't see it, okay. But when someone tells you how they feel or how your behavior is making them feel, that's when you should be like, let me pay attention to what I'm saying and what I'm doing. So Robin, you have a lot to answer for at the reunion. And my biggest suggestion to you would not to take the route that Ashley did. Take some ownership in some of what you may have said and done. And you may not be a colorist. However, what you can say is like, you know what? I didn't realize that my behavior in that moment was making you feel that way, because that's the way that they're feeling. Along with the mean girl mentality. But calling Dr. Wendy Acefo antagonizing after someone just threw a drink on her, you of all people, if someone threw a drink on you, God only knows how you would have reacted. God only knows how you would have reacted.
I am so glad that Juan Dixon is not here right now.
And producers with the whole RDZ filming, no, that for me was just like, no, this is just showing that Robin is just ignorant. She's deciding because she does not like Wendy that anything that Wendy says and does, she has a problem with. And look, is Wendy completely right in the way that she handled that situation? No, because I didn't like it when Wendy went at Mia, because look, not to say that she couldn't, because we talked about this when we talked about the Monique situation, and I had flashbacks of the Monique situation watching this, and I was like, uh-oh, we're about to have that same situation that we had with the Monique season. I didn't like that for her because she has a lot more to lose. She has a lot more to lose than Mia, because Mia already lost her businesses, but no, she has her commentary work. She has, you know, the her professor job. Okay, she has a lot to lose. So much so that they had to put that disclaimer at the end about John Hopkins. These producers were having so much fun with the editing this week. Okay, get your creative on, editors. Get your creative on. I appreciate the art. I didn't like the fact, but I don't blame her. Someone threw a drink on you. That's almost like getting spit in the face. Isn't it? I don't know. No one's ever thrown a drink at me, but no one's ever spit in my face either. But to me, it's like, maybe. Now, are we going to get into the conversation? Is that like spitting in your face versus evil versus see you next Tuesday? Let's debate about it in the live chat and in the comment section. What's worse, being spit in the face or a drink thrown? In your good, wet and wavy wig. I don't have hair, so if someone, I just can't imagine at my big age, at their big age, someone doing that. However, we know it happens. We know it happens. Last week I was saying, do women at this point in their lives do this mean girl stuff? And then you guys pointed out so many situations that it still happens. It happens at the PTA. It happens at the soccer team. It happens at the work office. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I've been in the house so long that I forgot. I haven't been in an office setting for so long. I forgot. But you're right. It doesn't matter what age you are. People, that doesn't equate to maturity. So I didn't like to see Dr. Wendy put her position, all the things she's working for, in jeopardy. But part of me can't blame her because someone just threw a drink on you. And the other ladies on the other side, saying that, you're so antagonizing, it really felt like everyone was against Dr. Wendy Asefo. Karen wasn't taking a side, so she really didn't feel like she had any support. But Mia. Look, everyone's going to have a different perception of what Wendy was saying. People are going to be like, well, she did talk about her husband. Yeah, but the husband's on the show. And she's talking about, oh, you got beef with, you should have texted. She's equating. So look, maybe it's above their heads. Look, people hate when Dr. Wendy talks above their heads. She was equating to what Mia was saying in that moment. That's not my husband. I don't need to do that. I don't know if that's what you and your husband do, but that's a whole other situation. It didn't have to get to this physicality. It didn't. Poor Karen getting bumped. Karen, you should have moved when the drink flew. You should have just you know what? Let me go over here, because it wasn't going to end there, especially with someone like Mia. Mia is she's a liability. She's a liability. I just don't never know when that thing's gonna go. You know what I mean? Look, we saw it this week. Her trying to hit Dr. Wendy Asefo with the bag. No. And then she's walks away. She breaks her nail. Are we supposed to feel sorry for you? You decided to get physical. You decided that. And she's deciding to leave, and then everyone's going to check on Mia. Let's everyone go check on me. And Mia, if you leave, we're all leaving. And then the apology tour ladies go over, and they're like, well, she wants to leave. And Dr. Wendy Asefo is like, well, I'll leave. Because you literally have in that moment Giselle justifying the way that Mia is reacting. And I don't blame Wendy for feeling like, you know what, I'm going to leave. Because this is unnecessary. I'm not going to spend this entire weekend where everyone is against me. I don't blame her. I'm tired for her. And she's the only one there that has her back, herself. No one else. But I love the fact in this last scene, she brings up Monique. The ghost of Monique. Ghost of Monique is back. But she brings up a good point, because if you rewind time, it was Giselle talking about Monique's behavior and how we don't condone violence, and that's not the way that we act. Yeah. We don't do that. No. However, you're condoning, literally, if she wanted to, and I'm not saying that she should, literally, Wendy could press charges against Mia because you just threw an object that is considered an object at someone, and it was caught on camera. I don't think that it would go anywhere, but I'm just saying if she really wanted to. So you have someone initiate something like that. I know it wasn't a dragging of the wig, but really? Because if Dr. Wendy Asefo wanted to defend herself and fight Mia, she had every right. She just got a drink thrown on her. But no, we don't do that. I mean, I don't do that. I'm not a violent person. But what I'm saying is I had that whole Monique situation really kind of made me go like, well, look, Guys, I know you're going to have strong reactions to what happened. I want to know how you guys are feeling. Look, a reminder. It's important to take a break from reality TV. It's important to take a break from the day-to-day. A lot is happening in this country on social media. Shout out to everyone in Colorado. That horrendous situation that happened over the weekend. Our world is going through a lot, and we've been going through a lot. So if this show is becoming too much for you to watch, I understand. Because watching this, I literally had to rewatch the last few minutes, the last like 10, 20 minutes over and over again, just to make out everything that was happening. It's draining. But like I said before, I know the whole conversation about colorism constantly is coming up, especially on this show, but it's becoming so overt that you can't even deny it. It's like, Robin, she's antagonizing? She's the meanest person? It's becoming overt at this point. Guys, I want to know your reaction. Live chat, I want to know your reaction as well. And replay crew, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know your thoughts. How are you feeling about this episode? And what stood out to you the most? What did I not talk about that you wanted to talk about? Maybe in our tier, our new tier, we'll do a little after show. Guys, as always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Check out the latest episode of our podcast, Kempire Radio, What in the Matrix is Going On? And don't forget to rate and review it because it matters. And don't forget, this week will be the last week for you to order your fall merch at houseofkempire.com. More information will be available in the description of this video. And as always, be sure to support the Coldest Water Bottle, because they have not just water bottles, but they have all kinds of merch there, and ice packs. I can't even think of all the things. You know the spiel. I'm keep my fourth wall in. Keep it in. Okay, I'm editing it. I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving and holiday week, and so begins the holiday season here on the channel and in the world. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to follow on all social media platforms. I was tweeting up a storm on Sunday night. Just saying. Thanks guys so much for watching.